Dr. Muddassir, are you ready to unleash?
I am ready to unleash. I was born unleashed, my friend.
Thank you so much for coming here today. It's a pleasure. I know that we're connected since a long time, but today I think our episode will be more out of the supply chain.
Absolutely.
And it will be more into you. Thank you so much for coming here, and I'm so eager to listen to your story. I know that most people and many people today, they know Dr. Muddassir, who is the inspiration in supply chain. Articles, blogging, vlogging, inspiration, webinars, seminars, all of these great things. But not too many people understand the reasons that you're doing today and the stories behind what you're doing today. Would you mind if you share your lovely story?
With you, my friend, absolutely. So, two things. First of all, many congratulations for this podcast setup. Because I know you're super talented. You've been trying to do for a long time. You took 4 months to be at this point. It takes a lot of effort to do what you're doing right now. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
I also want to say this is the first time ever that somebody invited me in a proper podcast talking about me or my journey rather than talking about supply chain. So thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Dr. Muddassir. I'm so eager, and I believe that many people, I'm a big believer on everything on this planet has a reason, right? And what motivates the reason is our story.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that you have great story because your story will inspire millions of people who are listening to us. Would you mind just to tell us why you're doing what you're doing today behind SCMDOJO and your entrepreneurial journey? Mm-hmm. What is the reason?
The reason, I think it could be, I can summarize, there's many reasons, but as a headline, I can summarize to 2 basic intrinsic feeling, right? First reason is, I believe, you only, as most people do, you're only born once, right? And you got to leave no regret in your life. You should not, regret, I could have done this, or I could have used my talent better, or I could have tried this, then, so this could have, should have, is only past tense, right? So when the time, and people always wait for the right time for the right decision. Mm-hmm. There is no right time and there is no right decision. The important thing is in decision making is the time when you take, right? So decide the time and just take it, right? Being right or wrong, only time will tell. It depends on your how much hard work you do, how you do it and what you do it, right? But the important thing is to just take that risk, which I'm sure we're going to talk about later. So that's one intrinsic factor, right? So I thought, this is the time right now, I should do it. The second biggest factor is, I work in corporate world 17 years, right? I'm sure we can unfold this in few later on as well. But I believe my talent or the energy and my vision and passion was limited by many factors, right? Some controllable, mostly uncontrollable, right? So you want to be master of your own destiny, right? Whatever your destiny is. And entrepreneurship is a pathway to be in control as much as possible of your own destiny, right? If you want to work hard, you probably do it for yourself, right? If you want to satisfy customer, you want to do it for yourself. If you want to develop great products and services, if you are creative, do it for yourselves, right? So I just decided this is the time right now, despite all the fear and all the challenges I had. People call me crazy, which I'll tell you more. So these are the, I think, 2 factors. And the third is, I think I'm one of those people, always believe that if I put my heart and mind into something, I'm going to achieve it. And I have no resources where I started and where I am right now. Basically, everything I have done, achieved in terms of education, my corporate success, job, business, is I've achieved by believing that with my heart and mind, I will do my best, right? I will put everything in to achieve what I want to achieve. And I can't think of an instance or a case that I've tried to do something and it has not happened. I mean, the example of that would be, I did my master, I've got a PhD scholarship. I moved from a full-time PhD scholar to part-time working for a company. Eaton, I did PhD working full-time. People struggle to do that I was working full time, did my PhD part time from Lancaster University Management School, which is a very, very high standard school. And I was a father, I have a young babies, I was a manager, I was traveling a lot. So you can only do that if you put your heart and mind and you believe you can do it, right? So that's the reason.
You mentioned that you had already great and successful career in your corporate life. I think it's very scary and it's very hard to take such a decision if you have a stable income, if you have great career inside the corporation. But taking such a decision that you said to yourself that no, now I need to take a chance on myself and move into entrepreneurship. It's scary and it's risky, but I believe again there is a reason behind everything. What is your reason?
I'm gonna give you answer of this question. You need to understand the background of every crazy decision, right? Or risky decision. Why someone take that much risk? So there's many factors to it, but I'm gonna give you let's call it a pre-story of that, right? So once you realize that if you think this is the craziest decision I've taken, this is actually not the craziest or riskiest decision. I've done even more worse. So let me tell you why. So I came from Karachi, very humbling background. I remember when I was in my school, my father was uneducated. He didn't understand the importance of it, but they were jewelers, So I was the first person who went to actually university or outside home or even went to college, etc. So my dad said, I don't have money. I know you like learning, just do it yourself. So I am after my school, from the age of 15, 16, I'm teaching other kids. I educated myself on a government college. I went to the engineering school. It was free. Teaching math, science, physics. So, I could have almost like a big tuition center in Karachi if I wanted to. So I did my engineering. Actually, at that time, I have a father who was not working. My brother was also not working. So I was the first person actually who was making some money, right? So when I finished my engineering and I got a job, I was in the top of the school. It was not difficult for me to get a job. But I realized that engineering is not me. I need to do MBA. Didn't have money to do MBA. Okay, so but I still want to do masters. So I got a scholarship from Sweden, right? Free scholarship, don't have my money that as well. So I went to, so I said to my, my family, I want to go and do the masters. He said, okay, but if you're gonna go, then who's gonna take care of the home, man? You're the only one actually making money. And remember, I'm 22 at this point in time. I'm 22 years old. So ask any 22 years right now, just think about this decision, right? And mentors are important in your life. One of my mentors is my uncle, my brother of my mother, right? And so I said, okay, not going. But he knew me because I brought up by my grandmother and my uncle. Long story as well. But anyway, so he took me out one day and he took me out like, let me buy you some jeans or, something. So, okay, we went out with him on his bike. And he said, I had the opportunity to go to Japan to do something else. I didn't get it. You are lucky one who's got a scholarship to go and learn. I know your parents and everybody saying otherwise, but don't miss it, mate. Because I missed it for the same reason for my family. Look where I'm right now, just doing a clerical job. Not many people get that break. Take that break. Take this chance. So in my life, there's only two people I have to convince. One is my mother, second is my wife. So I just talked to my mother saying, you know what, I think I should go, right? And I told her, listen to my father and my brother and my family. None of them was happy about it because the concern was this, how are we gonna do it? So I said, don't worry about it. I'm gonna go and I'll find a way. I'll send some money and we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So I took a loan from my aunt. I just have money for 1 month and I got a ticket. So I went there. I didn't know anybody. Found some mates. Make some mates. So I used to get up 3 a.m. in the morning in cold, dark Gothenburg. Used to drop newspaper from 3:30 to 7:30 every day. When people say, oh, you do so many things and you do so much hard work and, how you juggle all these things. And I said, you know what? All of that is dead easy. We just sit on a computer and talk to people. Try to wake up every day at 3:30 in minus 20 degrees Celsius. Go and deliver newspaper, then go to the class, right? And after that, in the evening, I used to work in a restaurant. So I sent money back home. I did that for 18 months, and I did my masters. I did my with distinction. I got a scholarship. Right, I kept my promise. Right, and once I went to UK, everything was easy after that. Then I got a job and scholarship. I used to send home. So imagine when people are relying on you, both emotionally and physically, and you are only 22, 23. At this age, lads, they have fun, they party, they do that. I didn't do any of that. I didn't get a chance to do it. And that hardship toughens you up. But when this hardship toughens you up like a iron rod, heated, you become like stainless steel. Like you become so solid, so hard, that you believe in your head and heart, you know what, I can go through this wall and I will be unbreakable. I will be unbreakable. Because you've done that, right? So that hardship and that toughness has actually made me who I am. Now, coming back to answer your question, I can tell you many stories, right? One more actually, which is actually I don't forget that night, because I'm gonna thank my friend here because I think he deserves a mention. The same uncle, I didn't have money, so he bought me a shoe. So he said, you're going from Karachi, 40 degrees Celsius, Sweden gonna be cold, it's gonna be like super, so you should bought a warm shoe, boots and coat. So we went to the, what do you call it, something where you buy old stuff basically. So I bought some old shoes which fits me, with some jackets,
like second-hand
stuff, but it was some foreign made. So I remember that night actually. It was Christmas Eve. So the thing is, newspaper goes out on Christmas Eve. It doesn't go out on Easter, the next day. But newspaper goes on Christmas. It was Christmas Eve, and of course everybody's home enjoying the feast and everything. And I was on the main city center of Gothenburg, right? So I used to deliver the newspaper there, and it was snowing. It's like a Christmas white snow, and my shoes was broken. And the shoes was breaking, and all the ice was coming inside the shoe. The issue is, at this point, you can't leave the job because everything at the time, you can't be 2 hours late. And if you see I don't know you've been to Gothenburg or not, all the houses are like 3 levels and there's no lift. So you have to go by a walk and come down. There's no lift in the 3-story houses. Right? That's another issue, but it keeps you fit, right? So the issue is that when I was doing this and all the snow, right, and I felt my feet is frozen. I can't feel my feet. Honestly, I couldn't feel, but I had to finish the job. And I struggled when I went home, go to sleep. And when I wake up, I said to my friend, "Hey, I can't feel my feet." And so I was wearing the sock. I still slept like this. So he take the sock out. I said, "Mate, this is blue. This is fucking blue." I said, "Okay, what? If we don't do anything about it right now, we have to cut it, and you could have poison here." So he took me to the hospital, and they gave some jabs. And fortunately, I've got all my toes.
Why all of that?
Yeah, because you have no choice. This is the thing. When you got no choice, you got to work on it, mate. And this makes you the whole thing, because you got to work. If you're not working, you got no money.
Didn't you have any time that you said, "I need to come back"?
Many times. But this is where you are. You is almost the famous story of Tariq bin Ziyad. I don't know if people know or not. He went in and he burned all the ships, and you're only gonna go if you're alive or dead. It's one of them, right? It's that story. It's the same as Tariq bin Ziyad. You go one way, you finish the task, then you come back. It's like that soldier mentality. Now, coming back to this, so I spent 17 years in corporate, right? Very, very thankful of that jump as well, because what I know in terms of my leadership skills, my technical supply chain skills, managing people, my English is still no good, but better, I guess, right? I still speak very fast in terms of the how to interact with people, how the business works, how the selling, how the manufacturing. Very, very thankful for all the companies or 2 companies I work for. I was in a leadership program, not once, even twice. I went to many 30 plus places just for my company, visit meetings, suppliers, give me huge amount of exposure, right? So cannot thank enough, right? So thank you what they have done for me, I think. But what I was feeling there is, when they put you on a leadership pathway, which they put me, when I was in the early part of my management career, and even when I was a middle manager, they put you on a effective leadership program. And I realized that you have to fit. And I post this a lot on LinkedIn. All corporate cultures or corporate companies, they have a certain corporate culture, historically built by whatever reason, right? Built by all the good reasons, in fact, which good reasons for them, because they want to, when the company gets bigger, when you have like 70, 80,000 people, you got 400 plants, the only way you can manage that culture and structure is by standardizing your process, which includes leadership model, which includes how you want to behave people, how people want to behave, the policies and procedures and SOPs and, all that, right? That's great, totally up to it, when it comes to technical part. But where I felt what was happening is they're trying to push me on the technical ladder, right? Technical company, supply chain leader. I want to go towards more general management, right? Because this is where you become a business leader, either MD of a division or GM of a division, and then so on and so forth. Because at this point, generally the GM people now, I think 15 years ago, they're hardly supply chain. They're all the finance or sales people who go and become that. And when I had a discussion with my senior leadership team and all this, I said, no, I think you're going to be great next logistics director, supply chain director, and we can't make you a plant manager. So what really triggered me, I think, which left the previous company. So I found a little corruption. It will be unfair to say that what was the corruption in the plant. I found that out. I solved that case, and which led to leaving a few of the leadership people, put it this way. And then I was managing the plant almost as a manufacturing manager. So I was managing the plant, 200 people. I applied for the job. They didn't give me the job. Even after doing 18 months, they didn't give me. What they said is, you need to be a bit more politically savvy. Okay, now we're talking English environment here, right? Mm-hmm. English people are very good in explaining things in a very, very politically correct way. That's just naturally, they're good at it. So when you ask this question, what do you mean by I need to be more politically savvy? I mean, because if you give me a feedback and give me something to work with, right? So I can improve on, I can show you the evidence that I have improved that constructive feedback. They said, you work very hard, everybody likes you. On-time performance was like 56, under your leadership is 98. Customers are super happy. You reduce your lead time from, 12 weeks to 6.5 weeks. You halve the inventory. We won the benchmark plant under my leadership. Didn't get the job. Did not get the job. They gave it to somebody else from outside. Mm-hmm. That dude also left after a few months. Long story, right?
What was your feeling in that?
I was like, what the fuck? Why? So I lost that, because the thing is, if they didn't give me the job because if I was not performing or not capable of, or I was missing something, fine. Saying I need to be more politically savvy, what does that mean? Okay, I don't exactly know the reason. Maybe I was too young. Maybe my English was not too good. I don't know the reason, because I like to think I'm intelligent enough that I can interpret. I find some interpretation of what you're trying to say. Maybe you can't tell me directly. I still don't understand why I didn't get the job. I deserved it. I should have got it anyway. So left that division. Then I left the company. I got a job in Dubai. I was working here 3.5 years, and I think in Dubai is very much like we are hardly any manufacturing. You manage basically information to give it to your distributor you sell. Great company to work for, but then I realized as well that to go to a certain leadership position, you got to have a certain personality. I wouldn't call it a personality fit. Your face needs to fit. Your face needs to fit into that leadership, right? I don't want to say anything controversial, but I just realized my face doesn't fit, right? Okay, so what to do? Right, go and do other job and stuff. So basically, I believe that as a corporate culture, you should go and if you work hard, you produce results. I've done multi-million-dollar projects. I implemented SAP twice. I have, I've saved $500,000 or more, everything, managed 200 people, done all that. So what else one could do, right, to grow in a corporate culture, right? That's one thing. Okay. But alternatively, you could also say, but that's not a big issue for a lot of people, right? That if for example, I was paid very well, I was paid $11,000 tax-free. I have a golden, like Mercedes medical fees paid, travel paid, everything paid.
Why?
Yeah, and this why is this. So when I finished my PhD, I started doing blogging, right? Muddassir it was. Then in 2018 July, I changed the blog name to SCMDOJO.
At the same time where you were working.
Yeah, I was working at the same time. So 16, 17, it was Muddassir, 2016, 17. 18, I changed in July 2019, I rebranded that, right? Dojo, that means I have a more vision, right? That means Dojo means a place to stay meditate. So my vision is to help supply chain people. So this is our main vision, which is help supply chain thrive, right? To anybody, person or individual. So from then on, what happened is my blogging and my vlogging is impacting. And this is the beauty of internet and this world right now. So I say in this time right now, in this decade, the money is not oil. The money is content. What you're doing, Ahmed Khaled, you're sitting on a gold mine because you are creating content. What you're doing is you. Nobody can take away from you. What I do with my vlog, podcast, supply chain show, nobody can take from me, right? Because we are creating original content and content is a gold mine, right? Mr. B's worth $500 million or more. He's nothing but content, creativity. So just keep that thought in mind, right? Secondly, this content what we are creating is impacting not the few 100, 70, 80, 90 people we see every day in the office or few hundred customers. It's impacting thousands of people. My YouTube channel has hit...
I got to know you, by the way, before I connect with you on LinkedIn by searching one of your articles.
Exactly.
In search engine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we connect and then we talk and so on and so forth, right? I mean, we have more than 3.5 million views of my website. We have literally more than, I think, only last year I did the maths on social media and my content and blog got 16 million impressions. That means 16 million people have seen, right? So when you think that there is an opportunity and you have cracked the art of impacting thousands of millions of people, right? Hundreds of thousands of people, then it said, I've got something here. I've got something big here, right? You don't exactly know what you got, but you got some, gut feeling. So first thing was the corporate life, corporate culture. You got something big here. So we keep going to conferences. I keep working hard, creating more content, courses. So what in this journey I get as entrepreneurship is easy if you think about it, right? So there's a very basic rule of few things.
You were doing it
part-time.
Till now you're inside
Eaton.
corporation.
So it's still
you're doing it
in the side, right? Because what happened is, and this is where I was talking about the hard work, the side hustle you need to put in. Because the time I was putting into doing my PhD, which let's call it, pie chart, my family, my PhD, my job, the pie chart of PhD was gone. So that time I was using it to do blogging, create content, doing influencing, so on and so forth, right? And
were you monetizing at this time?
No, that was not even nothing. No monetizing. Everything's free.
Create content.
Just create content. Because the thing is, one of the things you can do in your life, right, is, again, we are Muslim and we believe in a lot of things. And one of the hadith is, one of the good deeds you can leave after you die is the knowledge you leave, right? And that's the thing. So all the knowledge you share to people, I'm going to die, maybe few people benefit. You can't imagine. I get so many messages from people. I mean, if you see my LinkedIn, thank you for sharing this. Thank you for doing interview tips. Thank you.
The impact.
I get job because of this. Every day I get a message. I've got this thing going on. I've got this project interview. Can you send me? I'll just send to them. Agree. So I don't know. With this helping other people, maybe somebody's helping me. You never know, right? So helping people, and that was the main purpose. Again, no business in mind. But then I realized there's an opportunity, business opportunity. So business opportunity is, and COVID happened. Yeah. So when COVID happened, which is I think is a blessing for supply chain people, right? Because I have one very basic principle. I tried to do experiment of crowdsourcing. I failed. As a supply chain people, we manage information to manage material to manage money. We are mostly on the laptop doing it. So I always used to believe I can work from home, but corporate culture, no. You need to come to work. You need to sit. You have to come in the morning like 10. If you're half an hour late, it's like a bloody disaster. Yeah, you're like in a school. You're in the school, answering, which is ridiculous. Before COVID, right? But now everybody working from home. Boom, right? Nature has forced us to prove my theory that supply chain can be done remotely. The training, the teaching, the consultancy, the advisory, everything, right? And that's the game. That's what's going to happen. You can't stop. That's a one-way traffic right now, right? So we put a plan in. I said to my wife, we're going to do SCMDOJO full time, right? So I decided that actually during COVID, in around almost like, I still remember, August, September 2019, something like that, 2019 as well. Because I think that's going to happen. 2020. Yeah, August 2020. So I said, we are sitting at home. And so in that time, so when COVID happened, everybody talking about supply chain, toilet paper. I'm not going to name the people because maybe unfair. Some very influential people, right? Rich as well. They contacted me through LinkedIn and said, you know what? They are a Silicon Valley venture capitalist. They got millions. They made money. They formed companies. They sold it for hundreds of millions. What they said is, we want to have your time. We're going to pay you. But we want to understand supply chain. And we want to understand supply chain problems. What do you think? Why they want to understand supply chain problems for me?
Because you already deployed a huge content and you build your personal brand, definitely.
That's one thing. That's one thing. But most importantly, these guys want to understand what's happening so they can... Because entrepreneur, what is entrepreneurship? Find a problem, find a product or solution, product market fit, price it so people can use it, and that's it. That's business, right? You keep your cost low, sell it for more price, make money. That's your profit. So what entrepreneurs do, classical, they try to find a problem and they try to find a solution. So these guys are finding good in solution, but they don't understand the problem. So they have to keep talking to people. So one of the best advice I can give somebody right now, I can give a lot of advice, is to, if you want to become an entrepreneur, try to focus and understand the problem to the as detailed as possible.
Muddassir, what was this secret formula that you used?
Yeah.
From your personal experience,
Right.
that you said that if I reach to this point, I planned it, I will be able to jump from corporate and pursue my entrepreneurial journey. Whether it's financially, whether it's mentally, whatever aspect that you have. What was this trigger that you planned it and moved forward?
Now, good question. So if you're a young person, under 30, 25, you can take a risk right now because you got maybe no family, maybe, you can take a risk and you can fail and you can come back. But the problem is if people like us who has got family, have a very good job, you have advantage. The advantage you've got is you understand the company you work for, you understand the problem your company is facing and they're not solving. So think about this, the market problem, right? So what is important here, once you decide, don't do a stupidity or just leave a job and just start something. So you need to think about two things. First, financial planning, because that's very important. Second, basically test your business model while you're in the job. So let me go through these points one by one. So what is financial planning? So I read some books, but there is no good material. Honestly, I try to Amazon books, I read blogs. There's no real, they just tell you something high level, right? So as I told you, I have a very good job, making $11,000 tax free, all the benefit. You live a lifestyle, you live in Dubai, it's very expensive, right, to live. How are you going to do it? So what I did was, is all about being a supply chain and planning is all about how you manage your risk, right? Okay. So the first equation I said to myself, I need 18 months of runway. So let's assume if I leave a job in next month, if I make zero money, right, I need to have 18 months of safety stock.
18 months here, you mean that expenses that will cover my expenses or just my income?
No. My expenses.
Expenses.
Not income, right? So the rent you have to pay, the fees you have to pay, the money for food, maybe a holiday you need in between, all that.
So if my expenses per month it's 1,000, I need to have like
18,000.
18,000.
Exactly. Right. And again, there's a famous saying of Warren Buffett. What people do is, what they have this, okay, this is my salary, this is what I spend, this is my saving. No. What Warren Buffett said, he's one of the richest guys in the world. Actually, if you want to get rich, don't do this way. What you do is, you said, this is the minimum I need to live, this is what I make, and the difference is saving. So think about this mindset here. It's a very different way of thinking. So you said, what is the minimum money I need to live? Right? So you don't live lavish, you basically live minimalistically, where of course don't compromise your lifestyle. You need to be happy, of course, but don't go and buy a Porsche or don't buy a Land Cruiser, because that means you got to pay for it, right? So you just need a good car which takes you from point to point. This is what I done. I just have a good normal car. I could have buy a Porsche if I wanted to. I did not, right? So managing the financial safety stock. Then your family should be aligned. Then okay, but in parallel while you're doing this, right, you need to have, if you believe you got a business, if you believe you got a customer, which I know you do, because people who are passionate about, like you and me, they can figure it out. You got a problem, who's the customer, and you know what you can sell them, a product or service or whatever, doesn't matter. So once you know all that, you have to test it out in a MVP model, which is a minimum viable product. So one of the key terms, so Google it, is coined by, I think it was made famous by Eric Ries. There's a book called Lean Startup, right? Read that book. It's very, very good book,
I know,
right? So in this book, minimum viable product, you almost have to test it out, a basic structure. So I start making courses. Let me give you an example what I mean by that. Courses and digital product. And I start selling that through Gumroad. Gumroad is a platform which I have no website actually at this point in time. So I load my product, my courses, and share that on my social media, on my newsletter. And in 19 and 20, I made $32,000.
Wow.
So that was a proof of concept that I can make
Money
digital
aside.
product, right? And I can make digital product. I know my customer. I send it to 832 people. You're the first person.
You were doing this while you were
doing the job.
Side hustle, okay.
Side hustle, absolute side hustle. This is super important to understand. Do not leave job. Keep the job. Maybe don't work hard. Go in the morning. Don't go for exceptional. Go for good. What are you gonna miss out? 3.5% of raise, right? Who cares about 3.5% of raise, right? Just don't get sacked yourself. Just be good, right? Even though I was high performing, I keep high performing. But you don't go 12, 13 hours, because nobody going to be thankful for your 13 hours for 6 days, right? They're still going to give you understand what I'm saying, right? So the point is, you work hard on your side hustle and you prove your business model. Because if you can't sell it while being in the job or your product or service, I can tell you this right now, you can't sell it even after that.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have so much pressure and stress, and you're going to be overwhelmed with the stress, that you won't be able to do what you think you can do.
The business should be the best thing that you can do with the effort. Before doing like that, I will not have only 18 months of safety stock. What after? I should have funnel. Something is coming.
That's the word. So while doing it, that 32,000 I made in 2 years, I did not even touch. That was gone into my planning. Let's call it a startup money. Right.
You put it like aside. Safety stock. If something happened, you can just maneuver with this money.
So I paid my mortgage, whatever, 18 months of run rate from my salary. This $32,000 did not even touch. That was there, right? That means that money I'm going to use to either hire more people and maybe spend some marketing, so on and so forth. So that money, when I leave, it's going towards the salary of people, because you have to pay people as well. Develop a website, develop a product, develop whatever, right? Actually, in my case, I used that money to fly people in to like other people in Dubai, and we created courses. So if you go to SCMDOJO, you will see, we were going to have 17 courses right now. By the end of this year, you're going to see 36 courses. So that money is actually gone into production of courses, right? So the point is, that's your safety stock. So do that part. One more thing. Find 1 or 2 customers who's willing to pay you a retain or some sort of retainer or some sort of continuous income. Right? I'm not going to name a customer, but that thankfully, again,
like a contract. It's not just
like a contract or agreement or some sort.
For a long time.
Yeah, long time. So I found that one big brand who I'm still working with, even after leaving the job. And they said, you know what, we need your help in doing this, this, and this. Please do this for us. And we're going to give you 1 year agreement. Right? No problem. I don't have business. Yeah, no problem. I don't have business. No problem. We pay you whatever. Just talk to whoever and we pay you as a freelancer. Business, things are getting flexible. It's not as most difficult as most. Big companies are willing to work with freelancers now or freelance companies. Okay, that's first issue. But again, you still do not jump the ship, right? That's bad. So you find a customer, you gain your confidence, you can sell it, have your safety stock, plan for it, because what you don't want in the first 12 months or 18 months that, oh shit, how gonna buy this, or how gonna feed my kids, or how gonna pay mortgage or rent. You don't want that stress. You want to be focused 100%, 200% with your business. So have this ready. And while you got in the job, do it, right? Now, the third part is understand in whichever country you are, UK, USA, Dubai, understand what are the requirements of creating a business. So like you, I was going to many business center fee zones here, then to realize where is the best possible way to do it. You have to also understand what you're good at, what you know. So in my case, I'm absolutely poor in administrative tasks. I'm very creative, but when it comes to administrative, I'm absolutely shit, right? So I know my weakness. So the best way to do it, I went to DTech. DTech take care of your visas and transfers and everything else, your license and all this is one-stop shop. You just talk to one person, they take care of all of it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thanks so much. So went to DTech, they sorted everything out. Now they said, if you want to hire more people, no problem, Habibi, come to us. We'll sort out all the visa and everything. We sort out your family visas. So all good. So taking care of.
In that case, you said that we have 18 months worth of stocks. But what is that? If I have now 18 months, okay, shall I move out of the corporation right now and move out? Or there is some sort of customer acquisition, or there is a formula behind it?
Yeah.
Let's say savings as well, or just 2 or 3 months that I see it and it's sustainable. What was your formula on that?
Think like the famous break-even picture, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you have x-axis, y-axis, you have safety. So you have to sell more to get to this break-even point, right? So you're not starting from zero. You already have some customers. You have sold something. You paid something, right? You have something to build on.
But those customers could be like ups and downs. Maybe it's not continuous flow. As you said, maybe that customer with another people, he will not be like long term. But I have my businesses ups and downs. How can I make it?
So you need to identify your product or sales pipeline. So in our case, our content marketing is super strong. Right. So we know our content marketing creates a lot of leads to us, B2B leads and B2C leads. So the first person I hired actually was not a supply chain guy, is actually a video editor and a graphic designer. He's in full time, right? Because we know to make us successful. So what's your USP? What differentiate you from your competition? What differentiates SCMDOJO from anybody else? Is our content. So somebody asked me, what's your core? So this word, core competence. So trust your core competence, that your core competence can be able to solve, right? So once you finish this, you start calling people and you can convert those warm leads into a paying customer, right? Because those warm leads are not giving you business because they think, he's still working and he's still working. But as soon as you left the job and they were warm enough, they trust you enough, they will become. So this is where the risk you have to take. So I'm not going to make it simpler. I'm not going to tell you there's no risk in it, right? There is a risk, but
you're covered at least with the 18 months.
Exactly.
The formula that I want to ask you about, how many months that I can rely on from my customer acquisition? Let's say that I have customers and I have sales funnel. When will be the time, whether it's absolute in terms of money? What is this formula? Let's say that I need to have like 6 months also sustainable income is coming from my customer acquisition or the sales funnel that I bring leads, then I convert it into, move it in my sales funnel, then I convert it into my customers. How many months that I should rely on beside the 18 months that I say, okay, now I will go?
I think it very depends on your business and your circumstances. I don't think I can answer it like a formula, but I can tell you what happened with me.
Please.
Right? Which is an example, may not be applicable to most people, right? So you summarize it well. Then what happened is, I think I was making around $2,000-$3,000, right? When I quit the job. Imagine my expenses are a lot more than that.
Yes.
And I'm going to hire somebody, right? So this 30,000 of the money which we save from the side hustle, that was my runway for, let's call it 4-5 months. right? So I needed to make sure in this 4 or 5 months, I should raise enough money. That's one option. Or second, find a customer who can give me it. So I was just fortunate enough because, I've been doing blogging for life. People know me for many months. I was just fortunate enough to find it, right? And then we build the product. And because the thing is, once you leave, because when you're working full time, you can't really focus on product development or service development.
Yes.
So once you leave the job, you're really focusing on, like me, creating courses, content, right? You're not selling anything. Yeah, you're producing content. That takes, and it really scares you. Oh shit, I'm not selling, man. Where the money gonna come from? Right? It scares you, honestly. It does. But you have to trust that, okay, what works for me working part-time, I've sold $32,000 of product. It's gonna work when I have more product or more service to sell, right? And because you have done it, that confidence of being done it while you're in the job gonna make you relax, gonna make you sleep well, gonna give you this confidence. Okay, now I just need to build more on my product and services. I have a pipeline. I'm sure I'm gonna sell. So it took us 6 months now to get to the point. I think as I made a video on 24th of January, we are break even. That means we got 4 people right now, and 5 people including me. We are break even. We have not raised zero money, right? Platform makes enough money. And we have 4 or 5 different income streams, right? That doesn't matter right now. And don't rely on one income streams, right? So you have to rely on many different income streams. And this is the beauty of entrepreneurship. You know what's really funny? Sometimes you really work on something very hard for a customer or a product or a pipeline or something. You work very hard and you get nothing. Like nothing. And I'm like, shit, man. I spent so much time. I spent 18 hours preparing the proposal. I did my research. My presentation was watertight. I sent it to them and they said, sorry, the budget is now moved from March to next year. Sorry. I'm like, mate, you should have told me, right? Anyway. But then sometimes somebody said, I need this help. Can you take an example of a podcasting, the supply chain show. The supply chain show was started only talking to people like you, when we did, and share the knowledge of love. We got 11,500, subscribers. Now people come and ask us, you know what? We got this product in supply chain, whatever. We want to sponsor your stream. Yeah, okay. And sometimes you think you just ask a number and you expect they're gonna say no problem. Can we have 2 of them? I'm like, really? You want to? Yeah, okay. And sometimes it's that easy. So the thing with entrepreneurship, it balances itself out. So don't get disheartened by you put a lot of effort, happen nothing. But sometimes you make easy money as well, which would never gonna happen in the job.
At all.
It will never gonna happen. So there's a famous saying: if you want to be a millionaire, want to make more money, you got to become an entrepreneur. You're never gonna do it while being in the job. Nobody become a millionaire while working for somebody else. So that's my answer of your question.
Muddassir, last thing that we want to leave with our audience. If someone has a great idea right now, and he is working in corporation right now, and he wants to get this idea from his mind into the real world,
right?
As a side hustle, as you started, and your story, your inspiring story, what is the best advice that you can give them just to start taking the baby step towards their dream or their idea that they're believing on?
Yeah, good question. There's not one thing, but there's quite a few things or steps you have to take care of. I think few of them are already covered. First of all, if you want to take the jump, what are your product and services? What value you are adding, right? Are you saving some money? Saving money for somebody. You're making their life easier, right? There is actually a very interesting quote from Sergey Brin, who's the CEO or ex-CEO of Google, founder of Google. He said, "What is your secret formula of becoming a billionaire?" He said, "Create something which people use every day." Honestly, just think, it's that simple. If WhatsApp, multi-billion-dollar, right? Free app, bought by Google, Facebook, right? Something easy. It should have been done 10 years ago, but nobody done it. So think about what value you're adding, what problem you're solving, who you're doing. That needs to be very clear. Okay, now, but there is a trick, which I'm going to say, which I'm doing it other way around. If you pick any entrepreneurship book, they talk about the famous product market fit, take a product, identify the customer. No. Do it. Again, what I'm about to say is probably the most unique golden advice you're going to hear. Build your community first. The reason why Ahmed Khalid is and SCMDOJO Muddassir Ahmed is what we do, right, is we have built community. Ahmed Khalid has community. I have community, right? People come and ask us to, help them to do whatever because we have. Building community is the hardest thing you can do. Content is king right now, is a new oil. Content is a new oil, right? So find something which you're good at. Whatever that is, I don't know, right? Find something you're good at. Create content. Start putting into the TikTok, YouTube. Now this, you can go and buy on Amazon, 200 dirhams, very nice mic. You can buy a light, put a mobile phone in and start talking about something you're passionate about, right? And you will see the feedback. People will hear you. I mean, imagine before us, who gives a monkeys about supply chain or listing about 5 logistics KPIs or basically 7 reasons why supply chains are getting career choice. That video ranks, I've got like 50,000 views. When I was making that video, I had no idea it's going to rank on YouTube. I did that because I was passionate about it. I wanted to tell people that why supply chain is a great career choice. That was the only motivation. Now it's everyone watches it. It ranks highly on Google, right? People are copying the content, which is fine. They can copy, right? So the point is, find something which you're good at, find something you're passionate about, create content, create community. So what is the beauty of that? Once you create the community gonna tell you what the problem they are facing.
Mm-hmm.
Once they're gonna tell you what problem they are facing, then you make a product and services to solve that. So the product market fit goes out of the window anyway, because you know your customer, you know the problem, right? And then you can provide them a product and service and do it in an MVP fashion. Build something which is small and functional, give it to them. They're gonna say it's crap, and you say, okay, yeah, I agree. Tell me how can I improve it. You can improve that. Create a wireframe and charge them an introductory price. Ask them to refer their friends and family, because the product which got successful is because you would not believe about it. I have spent almost zero money in the last 5 years until last month on advertising. Like zero money. Have you
All
ever
organic.
Have you ever seen SCMDOJO ad?
No,
Never.
No.
Right.
Not at all.
Right. It's all organic because of the content we are
The values
producing.
of the content.
Okay. So do that. Know your customer. Know the problem. They are your first adopters. They are your evangelists at the same time. Right. Okay. And that's it. You got the business. Right. You got the money, and start giving them the service offering what they want to do. That will build your, as Yo keeps saying, your brand credibility, because that's what you Unleash is all about, creating your own brand. That's what you are actually pushing towards, and that's why I am here. And it only happened because once you create a content which you're passionate about, it gives you this brand credibility. Then when people put my thoughts into my face and what's coming out of my mouth, they say, okay, yeah, he's a legit guy. They trust me. Okay, he's a legit person, or legit woman, right? So they give you business, because essentially business is person to person. Of course, there's a digital internet and marketing and all that. But people, it's essentially personal brand do well. The reason they do personal brand well, because people trust people, right? And the last advice the two more advice I can give is this. If you are a person who likes work-life balance, who likes to, have a nice chill out weekend, who likes to, don't take too much stress, entrepreneurship is gonna be not for you. I'm sorry to break that in. Entrepreneurship is hard work, right? There isn't, it for some people they can say, but I'm talking about me, it's almost 24/7, right? So my life and business is like almost combined together, and it doesn't bother me because it makes me motivated, right? So I go on holiday, I spend time with family, I still see friends, but it's not like, oh, I have a Friday weekend off, say, see you Monday, and it's not like that. I work most Sundays. It's hard work. You basically, as I said, you have to manage teams, you have to do stuff, because in your business you have supply chain, you just manage supply chain, right? You're not responsible for selling, you're not responsible for legal, you're not responsible for accounts, you're not responsible for month-end closing, you're responsible for licensing, when you entrepreneur, you are responsible for all, right? You know a lot of stuff, you actually don't know a lot of stuff, and so you got to learn on a fly, and you got to learn very fast, like super fast. So while you're thinking of leaving a corporate job, the third and final advice I say, sharpen your learning skills. The more you're going to read, the more you're going to learn, the better it gets. I still remember this very interesting quote from my physics teacher in my 9th grade. He said, your brain is like a knife. The more you use it, the sharper it gets. You're going to stop using it. It's going to get corroded and it will not do shit. Right? Fact. So the irony is when you go to the corporate culture, you have a degree, you do masters, and they put you in this funnel. That's, like a horse. You just do this. They put you in a training and you complain about a training, right? Which again, the training is related to your job. You don't learn anything else.
Outside of this.
Yeah, you got to learn outside. So now I'm learning about, P&L. Now I'm learning about how to calculate TAM, which is, access to market. I'm learning about how to create a pitch deck, how to think about the strategy. I don't know coding, but I know almost everything I need to know about software creation. Because SCMDOJO, we're going to create softwares, we're going to put it out there. I'm building an expert marketplace, right? So I know more about UX and UI than somebody who's got a degree in computer science. Why I know? Because I watch so many YouTube videos. I read so many books. When I drive, I go to gym. Last time I listened to music, only God knows, right? It's always I'm listening to a book, so listening to a podcast or YouTube video. Right. When I sit at home, when my wife go to bed, I always, because got some YouTube interesting videos, I follow some channels, I learn about it. Right. So yesterday, actually, before I came in, I watched a video. What is branding? Branding is this impression. So okay, that's an interesting thought. So how you create impression on people, right? So the point is, you got to become super sharp in learning, work very hard. There's no work-life balance. You got to be passionate about it. That's it, Ahmed Khalid.
You unleashed a lot of things today, Dr. Muddassir. Really, I appreciate the vision and I appreciate the inspiring stories that you shared it with us today. And I believe that it will leave a huge impact. And you unleashed a lot of things that many people, they don't know about Muddassir today.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best with SCMDOJO, with the vision that you have. I'm sure next year, you will be in a better and better place.
Inshallah. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Ahmed Khalid. It's been a pleasure, Habibi.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.